Andrea, welcome to Love Thy Body Project's weekly interview. I'm super excited that you said yes to coming and joining me today, and we are going to be talking all about sexual empowerment and how you can go from having a lack of sex drive to having a really healthy sexual relationship, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's exciting. So it's like one of my my fortes. I'm all about sexual empowerment and promoting it and supporting women and feeling really confident and I'd said that wrong, really confident and comfortable in the bedroom. So I'm really excited for this one. I am really excited. So I've had a little look. You're a dance teacher, right? A dance and drama teacher?
Well, I do kind of lots of different things.
Okay.
So it's always one of those things when people say to me, what do you do? I have like a long list of things that I do because I don't just do one thing. So it's really always confusing. So I trained as a dancer.
Okay.
So I trained as a professional dancer and worked as a dancer and singer and actress for many years. And then I fell into the world of shopping telly.
Oh.
So I was on a shopping channel, a couple of different shopping channels for many years. And then I finished that last year and I just dip in and out of presenting now every so often with sort of gigs that might come up, you know. So other than that, I'm currently studying to be a counsellor, so an integrative counsellor. So I'm currently studying a degree. I'm just about to go into my second year, so level 5, which has been certainly eye-opening for somebody of my age at 43 in a couple of weeks.
Oh, we're the same age.
And prior to the lockdown, I did have a theatre school. So I taught, obviously within the theatre school, I ran the theatre school. That sadly has had to sort of take a back seat because of the lockdown. And then I also teach dance and drama in a secondary school.
Okay, cool. So with all of all these children that you are helping and supporting, it's all about empowerment, right? It's about them embracing who they are and being creative. So which leads me, so do you want to tell me a little bit about your backstory and why we're here today chatting about sexual empowerment?
Okie dokie. So my backstory, so I met my ex-husband now when I was 18, very young, really, I think. Looking back on it now, having children myself and my oldest being 12, I think, gosh, that's like 6 years more. And that's when I met my then or ex-husband now. We were together for about 8 years and then we split up for a couple of years and then we got back together again and said, you know, if we're getting back together, it's going to be it. That's it. You know, it's family, it's children, it's marriage. And that's what we did. So we got back together again after the 2 years apart. And then I don't believe he was ever very faithful anyway. I just assumed that he would be faithful once we had children. I thought that was it. He was older. I didn't think he would mess around. But sadly, I was wrong. He actually did. Sorry, that's my dog.
Okay, don't worry.
I knew he was gonna do that. He was sort of all comfy here, and then anything that goes past, he goes for. So he then had an affair that I found out about, and we subsequently split up. So the reason we're talking today about sexual empowerment is because, well, I lost my virginity very young. I was very, very young when I did that. The reason I did that was because I felt at that time, I felt like I was a goody. I could do no wrong. I was very well behaved. I'd always been told, because I loved dancing, I'd always been told that if I didn't do my homework, if I misbehaved, I wouldn't go dancing. And I just lived for dancing. So I was always really, really good and well behaved. And I got to the stage at secondary school and I was called things like boffin and stuff like that because I would do my work. So if you go into class, who hasn't done their homework? You know, I'd always done it.
Yeah.
And I think I just wanted to rebel. I would never ever change the person I lost my virginity to, but I would most certainly change the age because I do think that had a negative effect on me sexually. So I jumped from sort of boyfriend to boyfriend as well when I was younger, and my ex-husband was my third sexual partner. I thought, brilliant, this is it, I've hit jackpot. But we really weren't compatible in the bedroom at all. I would class as, he enjoyed what I would class as dirty, not in a good way,
Yeah.
sex. And I think because I had a lot of issues surrounding sex because I'd been so young, it just never really worked. Even though we had children, so obviously we did have a sexual relationship to a point. I always felt inadequate to him.
Okay.
Some of that came from me, but I also believe some of that came from the fact that I knew he liked things I didn't.
Yeah.
So I'd always been a little bit against porn as well. I've got a different perspective on that now, but I had, at that age, was I 18 when I met him, I was very much against all of that. And he was like almost obsessional about it, to the point of when he had a flat and we lived together, I found a stack. I mean, this is going back, see, these were videos. I found a stack of videos of porn.
Yeah.
And I was really shocked, and I didn't like it because I believed that, why did he need that if he was with me?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I remember, we didn't live in this flat. Well, we did live in the flat together eventually, but it was his flat. And he'd been out somewhere, and I'd gone to stay there, and he had like a call card of a prostitute attached to the side of the bed. And I sort of went in and went, well, you can get rid of that, and took it and sort of threw it. And he was like, well, it was just a joke with his mates, but he went and got it and put it back and refused to take it off. Yeah. And I think all of these little things like played on my mind, you know. We can go further into details, you know, like he wanted to have anal sex. I wasn't interested, you know, in anything like that. And for me, I think sex to me felt that it should be intimate between two people. And I believed for him, he was much more of a, is it voyeurism? When, you know, he wanted to have sex outdoors and things like that. And I think I was just very young. It wasn't my bag. And I always felt inadequate. I always felt inferior. I felt that there were other women that were sexier. And I do think it had a negative effect on our relationship, our sexual relationship. You know, we were great friends. We got on so well, hence why we got married, and we were always laughing. But the bedroom was never really right. So in a way, I kind of don't blame him really in some respect for having affairs. You know, but where did that leave me? I don't, he did try to be loving towards me, but I think I just sort of pushed him away because I felt like he was up to no good all the time. Yeah. So that to me was an instant no-no.
Especially from such a young age as well. But I've been with my partner since I was 16, and he'd already had sexual like relationships with other people, and I really hadn't. And so you always feel like you're not quite good enough, or you're not doing it the right way, especially at that age as a young teen. And then when all of this other stuff comes in, like young boys, they like a porno, don't they? They like they have a giggle or whatever with the pornos. But as young girls, we're like, we can't be good enough because they're watching porn. So what are we doing wrong? And then you get that in that mindset, and it will go with you, like as you go. And the more little things that happen within your relationship, you always will pop it back to, well, I can't be good enough in bed, or I'm not giving him the right kind of what he needs, and that kind of stuff, because you're associating it with past events that have happened, little things that have triggered you. It can lead to you feeling inadequate in the bedroom, where you get to the point where you don't feel like you're enjoying anything, because you're constantly worrying while you're in the bedroom about, is it good enough for them, or you're not letting yourself just go and enjoy that moment.
Absolutely, yeah, totally agree. Yeah,
it's hard, isn't it? Especially when you've been with somebody for such a long time and at such a young age. I think there is always an awkwardness. I think that when you're with that one partner, but when you split up and you get to be with somebody new, you've got all those new beginnings, and you can then take into consideration all of the things that you feel that you might have done wrong, and you can put them in a way that's open and loving and share those feelings. But you are with somebody now, right?
Yes.
You are with a new partner. And
Yes,
so
I've
how
got a
does
new
that
partner.
make you, and how does that make you feel? How is it different?
Well, the partner I'm with now, we've been together for 5 years, and although you would assume, looking at my history with having an ex-husband that cheated on me and, like, you know, repeatedly cheated on me, you would think that I would have trust issues. But for some reason with my partner now, I just instantly trusted him.
Yeah.
So I trusted where he was. I trusted what he said. Little things like the mobile phone. So when my ex-husband was around, the phone, because there was lots of issues around the phone, he always had additional phones, additional SIM cards that I would find. He would never leave his phone around. And there was always that thought of what's he up to in the back of my mind. Whereas this partner, I do not have that at all. So I don't ever think about checking. I would never, ever think about checking his phone, ever.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's a huge, huge thing for a sexual partner, is to have that trust.
Absolutely.
To have the trust that they are not off with another woman somewhere else. And this partner makes me feel incredibly sexy. He makes me feel like there isn't anybody better, you know. And I think massively, I think it is that trust element. And people say to me, but how do you know? We don't live together. How do you know he's not off with somebody else? And I just know.
Yeah.
And I think it's through conversations we've had, you know, he really is absolutely against any kind of cheating. You know, for him, that is a total no-no.
Yeah.
As it is for me. And I can't say, you know, when I was first with my husband, I did actually cheat on him. And I think that's possibly one of the spirals that took us down the wrong route, because I felt so guilty I cheated on him. I told him. And then I think he felt like he had the upper hand.
Yeah.
So then I think he did to me, and he just continued doing it, even though from that moment on, I was completely and utterly faithful to my husband after I told him, because I was racked with guilt about it. So I know now I would never, ever do that to a partner anyway. And I would never do that to my partner, obviously, now. But I think also when I was going through my divorce, a lot of it was blamed on me. You know, I was told I was ugly. I was told I was fat. I was told, obviously, I was rubbish in the bedroom. And so I think when I first went through that, and I think this is very common perhaps for women that are a little bit older that then go through a divorce, I think what your inner goddess wants to come out. You know, I wanted to feel like I was all these things that my ex-husband said I wasn't.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be adventurous. I wanted to be naughty. I wanted to be daring. And I did all those things, you know, but along the way, I think I found what I liked and what I enjoyed.
Absolutely.
And I found that I could be honest with my current partner about what I liked, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, it helps that he's incredibly virile. I mean, I've never known a man to be able to do what he can do. And my body has never responded to anyone else in the way it responds to him.
Yeah.
So, you know, if we're going to talk about orgasms, you know, I've never experienced what I experience now. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I think that probably comes as well from the fact that you felt so inadequate that you explored, you found out what you've liked, but you've actually communicated that with your partner. So because you've had that communication, he knows where to go, what to do, what buttons to press, exactly what it is you like and you don't like. And so when you're in the bedroom, he's able to give that pleasure to you exactly how you want it. And it feels good. And the more that you feel good, like in that moment, the more he feels good, because he knows that he's giving you that pleasure. And that's probably where that comes from with those orgasms. Like that's where like that connections come from, where you've been able to express everything. It's really key communication. When you've got that,
I think also.
On you go.
Oh God, I was just going to say, I think also with my ex-husband, and I only really compare the two because I was with him for such a long time. Obviously, I was with my ex-husband for about 20 years. So he always wanted me to dress up. Okay. Now, I don't mind dressing up to feel sexy, but he always wanted me to wear heels and short skirts. And my partner now, like, and he did have trouble getting an erection. He did. And I felt that's because I wasn't turning him on.
Yeah.
So then that had a negative effect on me, because I thought, oh, he doesn't find me attractive. He doesn't, you know, I'm no good. It was all those kind of voices in your head. Whereas my partner now couldn't care less what I've got on, because it will come off, you know. So he doesn't, it's not like he doesn't want me to be anyone else. Whereas I felt like with my ex-husband, I felt like he wanted me to be someone that I wasn't.
Yeah.
And that really had a negative effect.
Yeah,
But
I get
obviously
that as well.
my current partner is just, you know, he loves me, and he doesn't have any problems
And you're a
getting
beautiful
anything up.
lady. You're a beautiful, beautiful lady. So why would he not? And this is the thing as well. When you're comfortable with each other, it doesn't really matter, does it? What you're wearing or whatever, because it's not the clothes it's the person that makes the person, right? It's not your clothes or how you're dressed.
That's right.
And to be able to be comfortable in like a joggers and a t-shirt or whatever, just around your partner, and still feel sexy, like, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's something really special, because I don't think a lot of people have it. I think it's a place that people are, you know, because movies make it look so romantic, don't they? Like a lady in a t-shirt or like a little pair of short, like jogging bottom shorts or whatever, and it all comes across as being sexy or whatever. It's not like that in reality, is it? So when you've got that, and you've got that relationship where you can just be yourself no matter what you're wearing, it is a very special relationship.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I think, I mean, I don't live with my partner now, so I'm not sure if that helps.
Yeah.
Because, or, you know, it hinders certain parts of our relationship, because we are getting to the stage 5 years on that I would like a little bit more, but then I think, oh, is it gonna dampen that part down? You know, and I certainly don't want that
as well, because you're excited
down.
when you see each other at the moment, because you're not in each other's pockets, whereas
That's right, yeah.
when you're together,
and we don't have children together either. I think that, you know, if you can find that relationship with the person you've had children with, is the most amazing thing to ever happen. Sadly, it didn't happen to me, you know, but because we don't have the children together, we don't have that, like, I remember when the children were little, that thought of they could come in the bedroom at any time was always a bit of a killer. Like, not a killer, but like a dampener on the mood, let's say. If there was a mood going on. And also, obviously, when children are really young, it is exhausting. You are exhausted.
Absolutely, yeah. It takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot out of you. And I think...
Oh, it does.
It's more like you've got to plan it. And then it's not spontaneous, right? And then it's not so exciting. It's like been planned, and it's kind of more like military like precision, that you're going to be okay. So the kids are going to go to bed. We're going to do this, but then the kids could come down and absolutely wreck everything. And then that's it. You're not in the mood anymore, because then you're like, oh, the kids come and spoil it now. Yeah, I get it. I've got 5 kids running around my house at some point. But I think when it comes to that fulfillment and that sexual empowerment, that is coming from your trust. That's coming from knowing that you are comfortable with that man. You feel that you feel safe, and you feel that he just knows you as a person. So when you're in the bedroom, that sexual fulfillment is on fire. Whereas before, you were in that lack mindset. You were worrying. You were concentrating on what he was doing behind your back, and maybe it wasn't his fault, but it was your fault. So you were putting that blame on yourself. So it's really lovely to hear that you found your man, and your bedroom experience has like completely like transformed, right? Absolutely.
Yeah, because I think I used to have this label on myself, which I put on myself, that, you know, I wasn't really bothered about sex. I wasn't really that interested. I wasn't that bothered. It wasn't that good. What did all these people rave about? Whereas now I'm completely different. And I don't know, also, that I think that does come a little bit with age.
Oh, yeah.
Because
absolutely.
I still, hand on heart, will say that I was way too young to ever have tried to experience anything. I know that's kind of common for youngsters to sort of mess around, that they're sort of interested in it. They've got hormones going everywhere. So I do kind of understand that. And like I said, I've never changed the person, but I would have definitely changed the age. And I definitely think that had a negative effect on me. But I think as we get older, we do change. We do change in being less fearful, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't compare that to being in a loving marriage with children. I can't compare that feeling because I don't have it.
Yeah.
I can only compare my experience, but definitely the thought of, you know, always worrying about, you know, did I look good enough? Was I slim enough? That was a massive thing. Whereas my partner now, like, I know I don't have any inhibitions in my body at all in front of him. Yet I probably would have always been covered up because I was felt not good enough. Felt there was always someone better because he was always out there looking at other people.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And it's your mindset, and it plays a big part in how you feel, doesn't it, when people are doing that to you, when you're noticing it. And even like the he could have been out and like naturally just looked over, and it could have been the most innocent look at somebody, but in your head you've seen him do that. So because you know that he's doing it when you know he's looking at people, and you can see that even innocent looks could feel like
well, unfortunately with my ex, they were never going to be innocent looks. So he was like, he would actually point. I mean, I found myself eventually pointing other girls out, well, she's pretty and stuff like that, to him, to almost for his approval.
Yeah.
Because I knew he was doing it. I knew he was up to no good.
Yeah.
You know. But when you love somebody, you stay with them through all of that. Yeah, he was also into sex parties as well, and I completely my mindset on that is it's up to the individual if they enjoy things like that. But for me, and everybody is different, but for me, sex is for two people. That's the way. That's how I enjoy it, and that's how I know I can feel empowered now sexually, because I'm with a partner who wants the same things.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't think, I personally couldn't think of anything worse than going to something like that.
Yeah. And that, again, when you're in a relationship, that needs to be a two-way thing, right? You need to both have agreed on that and go with it, or you step away and you don't. So
yeah, so I'm not saying that there's anything wrong in that, and if that's what the individuals enjoy and like, brilliant, happy days, off you go. But for my own experience, I need to have a partner that I know is just us. So I know in the bedroom or wherever we are, that experience is only shared between us two, no one else.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what makes a big difference, is knowing which side of that fence you sit on, I suppose.
Yeah, and I've spoken to women who are, you know, who are in relationships with more than one person, and they're absolutely thriving. Their sex life is amazing, and they get on so well, and they're all happy, and everything's fine. But then I've seen people who are in them kind of relationships, and it's all gone absolutely sour, and there's just been like fights and arguments and he said, she said, like type of thing. So it does depend on the people, and you've kind of got to stick with your own and what makes you feel good, and not compare yourself to other people, because other people's opinions or what other people get up to does not affect your life in any way. It's only what you do that affects your life and who you're with. So yeah, I agree with you. You're right to be exactly where you are, happy in your relationship. And yeah, exciting. I'm so proud that you found somebody, and because I'm 43 as well, so and I've been with my husband since I was 16, so we've been together 26 years. Oh my gosh, 26 years. We haven't obviously been married that whole time because we didn't get married for a bit, but I don't, you know, I've been with him since I was young. I couldn't imagine life without him, like, but you know, going on, moving forward. And I think that would be really strange, like, for me to be doing something like that. But I suppose you've just got to embrace it, haven't you? And you've got to find love. You've got to find, you know, if we split up, if we argued and we split up, I wouldn't want to be on my own, like, and be a miserable old lady all on my own when I'm older. I would want to be out meeting people, and I'm sure that somebody would come along, the right person would come along. not that that's going to happen, just in case my husband watches this.
I think for me, I think I went through a massive self-esteem problem when my divorce was, because I had a horrendous divorce. It went on for years and years and years. But at the very beginning of finding out about his affair, him telling me he was going to leave, and then him completely backtracking on me and wanting to stay together, that was probably over a year's worth of time. And I remember there was an instant when he was working away, and we decided that we were going to have a think about, when he went away, have a think about what we really wanted out of life and out of the pair of us, and what we would do going forward. And he came home and said, have you had a think? And I said, yeah, I have. And I said to him, I want to have a husband who loves me for me and doesn't have eyes for anyone else. And he said he wanted me to go out wearing short skirts and low-cut tops. And I thought, are you for real? I'm the mother of your children. Our children at the time were about 5 and 6, I think. You know, they were young kids. So we're talking, what, on the school run?
Yeah. So and that's not kind of a response that you wanted, was it? That you wanted an
it wasn't.
Conversation, and that was kind of just a throwback to you personally. It was a personal attack, to be fair.
That's right. And then he also told me that he wanted, because the kids played football, he wanted to go to the football and we'd be on the sidelines, and he wanted other men to want to take me home and do whatever with, but he knew he was taking me home.
Okay.
And I thought, geez, what? My partner now absolutely hates it if he sees somebody giving me the eye. Hates it. So it's a complete turnaround. You know, I had a husband who wanted me to be almost an object, almost a sort of possession to someone who's like, how dare you look my partner up and, like, you know, eye up my partner. Like, he really hates it, my partner now. But my ex wanted me to be this sort of, I don't know, it's just,
like
I found the whole thing very strange. And then because he was so awful, I mean, he would scream in my face, an inch from my face, about how fat I was and how ugly I was and how spotty I was, and no wonder he'd had an affair. And so my self-esteem was really rock bottom. And I think that's why I went on this mission to realise that there were other people out there that I found attractive, because I had him on such a pedestal that he was amazing. He was the partner. He was my soulmate. He was everything. And he could do no wrong, and well, he could do wrong, but you know, he was wonderful. And there was no one else that was ever going to match up to him. But I realised how wrong that assumption was to have now.
Yeah.
But when you're in it, you don't see it. So that's why I think when you say, like, when you're in a happy relationship, you can't ever imagine going out and meeting anyone else.
No.
But for me, I was knocked down so low that my instant way to, and it was actually my cousin who said to me, you know, you should try internet dating. That's what she said. And I was like, oh, no. And she said, well, you'll soon realise there's, you know, plenty more fish in the sea, as it were. And yeah, there were.
They were.
You know?
I've got lots of friends that I've never been on one. I've been with my husband since I have to. I did think, I'll go on one, because obviously my job is as a sexual empowerment coach as well. I'll go on one and I'll have a look, and then I thought, oh no, because if I go on one and he looks at my phone, he'll think I'm doing something wrong. Like, how can I explain that? So I've never actually, like, I've never been on a dating app or anything, but my friends always seem to get like rude pictures sent to them.
Oh yeah, you do. Yeah, you get that.
I've never had that. I'm like, I've never had that happen to me.
Yeah, it's. I mean, when I worked in the shopping channel, getting sent a dick pic, as it were, was like a regular occurrence.
Oh, okay.
On the shopping channel, yeah. It's just a strange thought why they want to do that, why they want to send pictures of themselves like that, but they do, and they come a many.
I'm definitely missing a trick here. I'm missing a trick. Thank you so much for talking to me and being open about your relationship. It will absolutely help other women who are probably feeling a little bit down in their relationship and maybe can't quite find how to move forward in it. So I think, you know, to come on and do something is really brave. and chat so open and honestly. So thank you so much. It's been absolutely
Oh, you're more than
amazing.
welcome.